And hello to the Mindset Alchemy podcast. I'm Janine, and I absolutely adore sharing with you various things around energy, around words, about life, and where you can change what you are doing so that you can know intuitively, you can choose consciously, create intentionally, and be effortlessly. Yes, we still get to do the work, people. We can still flow with it, even the parts we dislike. I found the most amazing quote by Alan Alda. You have to leave the city of your comfort and go into the wilderness of your intuition. What you'll discover will be wonderful. What you'll discover is yourself. Alan Alda. What an incredible visual that when you leave your city of comfort and you go into the wilderness of your intuition, you're able to explore, you're able to adventure, you are able to see more and experience more. I found it particularly relevant because I moved from a very built up suburban area to a place on the coast where it is quite wild. We have green belts, and just even this week, we've had 2 scorpions in the garage. Luckily, my dog didn't go in there. We've had a snake on the patio and another golden one going across the pathway. So it is definitely going from the comfort of our home, of the suburban area, into the wilderness of our intuition in the real terms. So, what is intuition? Intuition is very much around our body, our awareness, our instincts, our imagination, our feelings, and our understandings. Just as we have the 5 senses of touch, taste, smell, sound, hearing, did I? No, I said that. Anyway, touch, taste, smell. We left out the smell. We have this in the energetic perspective as well. Clairaudience, clairvoyant, all of these things, the feelings, those 6 senses that very often correlate with our 5 senses when we look at them. Intuition goes a bit more deeply as well. Yes, as a psychic, I understand I work with the energy, I work with the body, I work with all of those things. Intuition is slightly different. It's that inner knowingness. It's that whisper from our soul. It's that external calling to us that draws us forward and brings us into alignment with ourselves. It is in allowing ourselves that we can tap into it and explore with it, because it takes us where we get to stretch that comfort zone so that we become uncomfortable, because it may seem illogical. Intuition very often will go against what we've been taught, what we believe in. It will just be a deep knowingness. And that deep knowingness may very often be in contrast to our knowledge, to our past experience, and to our beliefs. And this is what makes it absolutely incredibly amazing, that we are able to explore it, adventure with it, see the success of it, and ignore it. I know that when I have ignored it, I've always gone, I should have listened to myself. And even then, my husband or my children would say to me, Janine, you even said we should try this, do that, do the next thing. How come we didn't? And it comes down to that trust. When we adventure, sometimes we get to trust that maybe I can do it, rather than looking at what, oh, well, I can't do it. When we get to adventure with intuition, it's, well, what if I just step out a little bit and work with it rather than against it? When stepping into intuition, it's trusting the signs, trusting that inner knowingness, trusting that guide and working with it. So when we ask for something, it may come in a form slightly different to what we thought it would come in. And this is one of the major reasons we get to release expectations. We can expect something, and the minute we make it an expectation, or, oh, I'm expectant of this, okay, you can be expectant of a baby. And even then, things may turn out differently. As a midwife, I have seen this as well. There were several times I delivered what was supposed to be a one baby, and it turned out to be twins. They were one in those days. Obviously, we didn't have the technology we have these days. Anyway, I'm going off topic here. The bottom line is, when we work with our intuition, we are actually working with our inner soul. We are working with ourselves. And this is where journaling comes in. It helps us meet our intuition and understand our ego. It helps us understand that that loud, demanding voice, or even soft, demanding voice, or that self-deprecating voice, most times is ego. It's fear. Whereas when we work with intuition, it can be very fleeting. It can be like almost like, my goodness, did I think that? Did I see that? Did I have that understanding? And well, could it be that? Because it seems very opposite to anything I've been shown to do, that I've ever done. And when we start learning to trust our intuition, it is absolutely incredible what comes forward. It's amazing how we get to explore things at a much deeper level. So my question to you today is, what if you could ask yourself the question, what else is possible? And then allow your intuition to whisper to you the different possibilities. I know that when I channel, I'm channeling possibilities and potential. People then get to take it and turn it into a definite rather than oh, you said this, you said that. When I share, I'm sharing the possibility because there are always other people involved and they may choose different paths, different decisions. Whereas intuition can see the end result. Intuition understands the end result, and intuition helps us to move towards that end result. And that is what is so powerful about it when we tune into it. So when we ask questions, avoid why, because why keeps us looping. I say, well, what else is possible? Well, who would come forward to help me with that? Where could I go for answers around things? And when we explore it in that way, and then we listen for the inner knowingness, we journal to see the theme that comes forward, it's incredible how the answers come. What has your experience been with your intuition? Have you been taught to distrust it? Or have you seen that very often it will help you step onto a path so that you can be guided and you can be directed by your inner knowingness, by previous knowledge, even with instinct, because instinct comes forward to guide us as to what we can heal, what we can shift, and what we can change, and where we can say, okay, thank you for the warning, and intuition is saying something different. When it comes down to instinct and intuition, follow intuition. It's very often a much better way. And if you do follow instinct, that's okay. Get back on the path with the question of what's right about this I may be missing. Where else can I check in? For me, it's about exploring it and understanding it. The other day, I was channeling for somebody on something they were asking me, and I mentioned a fruit tree to them around the question they were asking. And it turned out to be their relative's favorite fruit tree. So we get to trust ourselves, we get to work with ourselves, and we get to understand what's coming forward. So when you hear, oh, this fruit tree, rather than saying nonsense, explore it, ask questions. Ask yourself, well, what's the significance of the fruit tree? Or ask the person you're with, does this have any meaning or significance in your life? And what this does is it allows us to move to the next step. Another tool that I use is when I get a whisper and I go, well, what's obvious to me is intuition is saying this or that, or the next thing it is, as I speak it out loud or as I write it, it's so incredible what comes forward, a better direction, a more expansive way, and a way to release fears and doubts. Intuition is definitely that adventure in the wilderness that Alan Alda is speaking about. It takes courage, it takes having the better tools with us, and it takes being prepared to lower the barriers and expand our comfort zone. While we may feel like we're being stretched and it may be very uncomfortable, we still feel safe within that wilderness as we grow our capacity to understand ourselves, to understand the vocabulary our intuition is using with us, and to explore greater possibilities. If you're interested in knowing more, working with me, reach out. Let's chat about how I can help you to know intuitively, because we can all do it. Have a beautiful day and come and find me on social media and let me know your thoughts. Have a good one. Bye-bye.